A girl is standing at the door crying and saying, "I hope nothing happens to my mother. I hope my mother gets better soon." The doctor is examining her mother and the girl keeps crying and saying, "Where will I go without my mother? I will be completely lost without her." When the doctor comes outside, she says, "The patient's condition is very serious, but I am trying my best to save her." Another girl says, "Please try and treat her." The first girl, crying uncontrollably, falls at the doctor's feet and says, "Please save my mother." The other girl says, "Saving her is not in the doctor's hands. Stop making excuses and crying like this." A boy helps the crying girl stand up and says to the other girl, "You should have encouraged her, but instead you are scolding her. Look at how you are talking to her when she is already in pain." Another boy says, "She is just pretending. She is very clever and deceitful." The first boy replies, "Have some shame." The doctor says, "This is your personal matter. I am leaving. I have other patients to see." The boy then says to the crying girl, "Please calm down." The girl says, "If something happens to my mother, where will I go?" The other girl says to her husband, "Look how she is pretending. She is the biggest drama maker." Her husband replies, "You're right." The girl then says to her husband, "Why have you kept her in our house? Throw her out." He replies, "Have some patience for a few days, then I'll throw her out." She says, "I don't have patience." Another boy says, "Why are you throwing her out? This is her mother's house." Her elder brother says, "This is not her mother's house, it's our house. We are doing her a favor by letting her live here." The girl sits in her room looking at the picture of her parents and says, "You left me all alone." Meanwhile, her elder brother and sister-in-law knock on the door. She opens it and they ask, "How are you?" She replies, "I'm fine. How are you?" They say, "We're fine." Her sister-in-law says, "A scheme has come that gives money. We thought we'd get your signature so you can receive money regularly. Those papers are actually related to the house." The girl says, "Okay, I don't have money, so at least I'll get some and be able to run the household." The sister-in-law says, "Sign these papers," and the girl signs them. When the brother and sister-in-law return home, they say to each other, "Now we'll throw her out because we have transferred the house into our name." Then the elder brother and sister-in-law come to her with 2 or 3 men. The girl tries to hug her sister-in-law, but she says, "Step back. I don't want to meet you. Get out of our house." The girl says, "This is my house. How is it yours?" The sister-in-law replies, "The papers you signed were not for money. They were the house documents." The girl cries and says, "Please don't throw me out. Where will I go?" Her brother says, "Go wherever you want. You have no right to this house now." They bring the land record officer, Putvari, who says, "This house now belongs to these two. You have no right here." The girl cries and pleads, "Please don't throw me out." Her sister-in-law says, "Leave quickly." Then another girl says she will not go from here and supports the Putvari. She says, "Look, this house belongs to her." The sister-in-law asks, "Who gave it to her?" The girl replies, "I went to my grandmother's house and she gave it to me." The sister-in-law says, "This is all a lie." The female Putvari says, "Be quiet now." An elderly woman writes, "I want to give my house to my daughter. She served me all her life." The Putvari says, "This house belongs to her." The sister-in-law says, "This is a fake document. How can you trust it?" The girl says, "This is not fake. It is real. This house belongs to her." The Putvari says, "You cannot take possession of this house. It belongs to this girl."